Welcome along to Let's Look at the League. I'm Lawrence Mangenje. If the 2026 Kasolaga Premier Soccer League season lives up to its billing, and then we are in for a thriller. It's exactly 20 days to go before the country's top flight rolls into life, and oh my, what a season it has been. Player transfer, coaches moving from Club A to Club B. What kind of a season can we anticipate? Very, very interesting newcomers in the league. Hard Rock, they're there, bulldozing the transfer market, signing a lot of players. They literally have at least 3 players for every position. That is Kelvin Kaindu's charges. I managed to attend the Premier Soccer League preseason workshop over the weekend and spoke to a lot of club representatives who spoke on how they pen the upcoming season to be. One of them is a very confident looking and sounding Hard Rock chairman Wellington Mpandare, who spoke about the Kasongo boys' prospects in their debut campaign in the country's top flight.
We're going to fight for survival, obviously. As the new baby, we need to fight for survival and make sure that we survive, especially with the facility that we have. We can't afford to go down the relegation road. So at the end of the day, pressure is on us. A lot of people expect a lot from us, especially like the facility that I talked about. A lot of people expect a lot from us. The Kwekwe community expect a lot from us. The Famba Hadi supporters also expect a lot from us. But pressure, like I said, is part of the game. So we expect just to play to survive. Anything that comes is a bonus.
How important is it to be promoted while still having your own stadium? And how important is it transforming that very stadium into a fortress?
Well, you can do whatever you want to do with your stadium. And if you look at the setup of a stadium with 30 rooms at the stadium, you can sell any space that you want to sell for advertising. It's our stadium. It's different from other stadiums where maybe you will find 4 teams sharing one stadium. They don't have, the same, freedom that we have in the use of the stadium, because our stadium is not a 90-minute stadium. It's an all-round stadium. It's open 24/7. There's a lot of activities that will be happening there, different sporting disciplines that will be happening there, be it swimming pool, basketball, there's a gym as well that is coming up. So there's a lot that will be happening at that stadium. So it's not about football only, but other sporting disciplines and other uses like, shows, musical shows. So we have space and we have time for other, disciplines.
And here you have bulldozed the transfer market. You guys literally have at least 2 or 3 players for every position. What is the strategy behind that recruitment?
Well, like I said, we're trying to survive. We're fighting for survival. That's the first thing. If you're coming in as a newbie, you want to fight for survival. So the first thing that we did was to look at the players that we had in Division 1 versus the competition that we're going to face in the Premier League. This is the top league, right, that we're talking about. And at the end of the day, we sat down and agreed that with the coach, and then he identified the player that he wanted. And at the end of the day, we ended up just retaining 4 players from the previous season, and the rest of the other players, we had to look for the players after the recommendations of the technical team.
That was Hard Rock chairman Wellington Mpandare, oozing with confidence ahead of the Premiership debutants' campaign in their debut season in the Premier Soccer League, having won the Central Region Soccer League, of course, at the expense of Shesham. What is it that we can expect from Hard Rock? What is it that lies in store for the Kwekwe-based side, who are under the tutelage of Zambian mentor Kevin Kaindu, who managed to save Dynamos from relegation last season? On match day 1, it's a thriller, if you ask me, at Chawanda Stadium, a newly operational Chawanda Stadium. Hard Rock will host defending champions Scotland in what is expected to be a mouth-watering encounter there. What is going to happen there? Let's hear from Wellington Mpandare again on that particular encounter.
That game is a difficult game. It's like Scotland president versus our president Chawanda. So a lot of people, the focus is on those 2 guys. Say the investment that they're putting in football, people expect a lot from them. But at the end of the day, it's a difficult game for us because if we lose that game, it will have far much reaching repercussions to our team players. They'll probably think that they're not up there with the best because we're playing the champions. And again, if we win that game, it means every game that we play after that will be a final because every team will say, oh, if they manage to beat the champions, then this team is very good. So it's difficult. If I had another way, would have started with an average team.
It's Hard Rock versus Scotland on match day 1 of the 2026 Castle Lager Premier Soccer League season. And oh my, what a promising encounter that is at Chawanda Stadium. We'll see what happens. What do you think is going to happen? Mabora akatanga na 3. Well, we all know what will happen. Another club that is preparing for the season, well, if you ask me, well, according to what they are saying, are Harare Giants Dynamos. They just left for Wange for their preseason, and they will take on Highlanders in the Gyros Jiri Challenge Cup on Sunday. Here is their chairman, Vincent Chawonza, saying they are doing their business quietly ahead of the new season.
We've been quiet deliberately because, as you also know, that we started a bit late our preparations in January. In terms of sponsorship, our sponsor is committed. We announce at the right time. And in terms of also player acquisition, this time we paid attention to detail and we went for talent rather than just names, and so that we can compete and also expose those young players that have not been exposed before. I was at one point joking with our coach that I can't sign someone who's older than me, the executive chairman, and you as a coach as well. So you find that we've gone for very young talent, unheralded, but with also 2 to 3 seasons experience in the Premier League. So we are going to definitely compete, and at the right time, soon we'll be announcing our players as well. And maybe
That's Dynamo's chairman, Vincent Chawonza. Always confident, well spoken and very, very eloquent when it comes to what happens in the blue half of the city. Vincent Chawonza, at the helm of Dynamos, is the chairman. Will Dynamos have a good season? What is it that to be expected from the 7 million fans? Will Dynamos fight relegation again? Will they manage a top 4 finish again? Like the chairman is saying, well, let's see what happens. But all we can tell you is that there are a lot of promises in the blue half of the city with regards to what Dynamos can manage to do. They've been very, very quiet, and they've kept a very, very tight lead in terms of their transfer. The only thing that is certain is that Dynamos are under the tutelage of youthful coach Genesis Kaka Mangombe, who boldly declared that he is back in the blue half of the city. What happens? Kaka ingoma wakomana, Kaka ingoma madimbare, regetu onodishishnoitika as the season progresses. Another team that is heading into the PSL as new buys are FC Hunters. Remember, FC Hunters entered into a partnership with Pedzai Scott Sakupwanya owned Ngombe Ahora into a partnership that will see the club taking part in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League as FC Hunters under the tutelage of veteran coach Nesbet Yabo Saruchera. I also managed to speak to the chairman, that is Kadbet Chitima, who says they are confident and they have learned a lot from the workshop and they are ready to go in their debut campaign in the country's top flight.
I think it's very important us getting into the PSL for the first time as FC Hunters. It's important that at least before the season starts, you get to understand what is expected of you and you prepare according to what the league statutes and regulations will be saying. So it's very important, and to interact with other clubs. I think it's very important. When you start games, at least you know who you are talking to or who you will be communicating with. So for me, it's a very important workshop. I think the most important subject that has been touched on that I think we need to really look at is about club licensing. I think for me is key and very important. The moment you get that right, everything else will fall in place. What I can say is yes, we've been doing things silently because we are very confident with the players that we have. There is no need for us to look for big names out there. The players that we have, we feel they can compete, and we can compete well with whatever team that we're going to be facing. Yes, it has been on a quiet side, and I think by the end of this week, next week, we'll then finalize our 30-man squad. In terms of technical, yes, there has been change. We have got our head coach, Yabo Nesbet Saruchera, being assisted by Darlington Dodo, and we have got other as the second assistant. I think that's the setup that we have at the moment.
That was FC Hunters chairman, Cuthbert Chitima, talking about what needs to be done in terms of FC Hunters doing well in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League. Look, it's still not clear whether they will be playing their games in Marondera because they won the championship in the Eastern region. It's still not clear whether Rudaga Stadium will be renovated to meet PSL standards. It's still not clear. What's clear is that FC Hunters will take part in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League season, and only imagination can tell us what will happen in their debut campaign. Well, that was Larry's look at the league. Thank you for watching and see you in the next episode.